Live from WTVO 17 and your home team. Eyewitness News in the Morning starts now.
It ruins your life. It ruins the person that you killed. It ruins their family. I mean, it destroys neighborhoods.
Happening right now at 5, 2 people are dead, others injured as police search for several gunmen across the state line in separate attacks. The new information we're learning about a violent few days right here at home.
And a newly organized group speaking up before Police Chief Dan O'Shea's hearing. The support the top cop is now gaining in what he has to say about this recent violence around the state line.
Plus, a machine that could help clean our homes, the way it works, and the reason several businesses want to get their hands on one. Want to start though with a live look outside this morning. A nice shot to start our day. Good morning to you. I'm Whitney Martin.
And I'm Elliot Grandia. Good morning. Another warm start to our day.
Yes.
I was telling Whitney last night, I don't know what it is. I just was tossing and turning last night. I don't think I could ever get comfortable. My apartment just
I don't know what it is. I'm the same way.
Feels like an oven.
Just feels so hot inside.
Yeah.
But I did see another meteorologist had posted and said, we're not shoveling. So just
Okay.
that's just remember.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Don't
okay.
complain.
I like
Okay,
that.
the shovel forecast right now, nothing is on
Okay,
there.
no white
so.
stuff in
Yeah.
this sky
So just,
track.
come
Okay.
on, guys. It's summer.
Like
We
that.
gotta get used
all
to
right,
it. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Meteorologist Joey Marino for no snow. We
Yeah.
appreciate you this morning, Joey.
I will say, I had a couple of friends already saying that they want 6 inches or 6 feet of snow. I said, I'm no.
Ask them
No.
when that comes, though, how they feel,
I almost blocked
Joey.
a couple of people on Twitter last night
Don't
for
you
saying
remember,
that.
though, Elliot asked for coats last week?
Okay,
No.
all right. That
After
was
what I
good.
saw
Let's
yesterday
not
on
forget.
Twitter, I think Elliot's comment's now at the bottom
right,
of
okay.
the pack. So if anybody wants snow at this point in the year, definitely need to say no to that. But let's take a look at temperatures out there this morning. Right now in the low 70s for most spots out there. 71 in Rockford, 72 up in Janesville, 75 in Monroe, 69 degrees down in Rochelle, 68 in Savannah. Winds are fairly light out there, pretty much calm in a couple of spots, including DeKalb. Calm up in Janesville and calm in Savannah. So far, pretty dry out there this morning. Another quiet start to our day with just a few clouds moving in from the west. As you can see, as our daily planner says, we are going to warm back into the low 90s today with a high of 92. A hot and humid afternoon could lead to a couple of thunderstorms by this evening. Let's take a look at our first warrant interactive radar. Pretty quiet start out there, Whitney. I'll have more on that. Plus, if there's going to be any relief from this heat coming up.
All right, thanks so much. 5:02 right now this morning. The search for a killer after a 23-year-old is killed, 5 others injured. Michelle Rave talking with Freeport investigators now searching for that gunman.
I couldn't really tell if it was gunshot or if it was the fireworks.
I kept hearing a lot pop, 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 somewhat rhythmic, which I thought could have been gunfire, but I figured, how can you tell?
Longtime Freeport residents Gloria Alleman and Steve Carroll live just a few blocks away from the deadly shooting. Both say Freeport has changed drastically.
It's kind of getting to be a common thing in this neighborhood. Some of the people that are my neighbors, we've lived here for years. Some of them lived here for 30 years. When I moved here, this was a nice, quiet, residential neighborhood.
It just makes me sad and angry. Where I live, there's been gunfire all around. About 5-6 weeks ago, a young 15-year-old lad was shot in the leg at 1:30 on a Monday morning on the corner of Maple and Galena, which is right behind where I live.
Chief of Police Matthew Summers tells me he hasn't seen anything like this before.
Is it typical to have just one person shot? To me, that's not typical, and especially to have 6 people shot. It's very disturbing to me. 25 years, I've never been to an incident where there were 6 people shot.
Now, some residents want to see more police patrolling the streets.
If they see they're around, it would sure stop some of the stuff, I guess.
Try to do something to try to reach the young people, and try to make this a better place for all of us, because we all have to live here.
In Freeport, for your home team, I'm Michelle Rave.
It's been a really rough few days. Police now telling us they are working on training more police officers.
Meantime, a violent few days at a Rockford housing complex. This morning, we're expected to learn more about the 24-year-old shot and killed at the Orton Keys housing complex. Police say the man was shot multiple times over the weekend and later died at a local hospital. His identity will be released once family is notified. Well, 2 other people were hurt during a pair of shootings the night before. The first happened Saturday just before 5 in the morning at the apartments near Ranger Street. Investigators say a woman was sitting in a car with 2 men when someone in a silver sedan opened fire. A second shooting happened about 45 minutes later on the Score Street side of Orton Keys. A man was shot in the back. A silver sedan is suspected to be involved in that shooting as well.
Rockford Police Chief Dan O'Shea saying the city is seeing a significant spike in those shootings, releasing a statement saying, quote, "It is an alarming amount that we're seeking the public's help to garner information on these incidents. So to do that, you can call police or leave a tip with Crime Stoppers." Now, looking ahead, the hearing addressing a complaint against Rockford's police chief now pushed back. The Rockford Fire and Police Commission moved the date to Thursday the 9th. Now, officially, it was scheduled for today. We told you about that. The first step is to see if there is probable cause to further investigate. If probable cause is found, that would lead to an evidentiary hearing. Citizen complaint says that comments that O'Shea made about 16 and 17-year-olds violate department policies against biased policing. Another group has come out in support of Chief O'Shea with a change.org petition. Both Rockford's mayor and Winnebago County State's attorney say that they have backed the chief as well.
Well, switching gears, a Rockford nonprofit that reaches children all over the globe now giving new life to an area playground. Kids around the world, volunteers were at work at Walker Park. You might have seen them outside there. The group fixed damaged equipment, added ADA accessible swings, and also piled on the mulch at the former elementary school playground. Since its founding 26 years ago, Kids Around the World has built more than 800 playgrounds in dozens of countries. But this is where it all started.
Kids Around the World is based here in Rockford, so any chance we can help our local community, we love to pitch in and help out, especially the Rockford Park District, seeing as our history goes back to our first project 26 years ago with the Rockford Park District when we built a playground in Brovary, Ukraine.
Well, work on Walker Park will continue today. Volunteers will move to the former White Swan Elementary School on Wednesday and Thursday.
Warm weather forecast with meteorologist Joey Marino.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Hopefully you're having a great start to your day out there. Yesterday we hit a high of 93 degrees. That puts our average high temperature for the first 6 days of July at 91.7 degrees. So that's the 5th warmest start to July on record. The first goes back to 2012, where we had an average high temperature of just short of the triple-digit mark, 99.8 degrees. But today we're going to continue that trend with temperatures climbing quickly into the low 90s by this afternoon. But off to a warm start out there, pretty quiet as we take a live look at our SkyTrack camera this morning. You can see that we are starting off once again mostly clear. Maybe a few passing clouds off towards the west, but we are starting off on the mild side. 71 degrees right now in Rockford, 72 in Freeport, 72 also up in Janesville, 75 in Monroe, 68 degrees out in Savannah. But winds are very light across the area this morning, and that's why temperatures are getting closer to the upper 60s in some spots. 3 miles per hour in Rockford, calm up in Janesville, also calm down in Rochelle, calm both in Sterling and Savannah. So a pretty quiet start. There were a few isolated showers off to the north of Milwaukee, but that's about all we're tracking this morning. You can see a couple of high clouds moving in from the northwest, but it's a pretty dry start across much of the Midwest this morning. You can see also what was resulted from yesterday's severe weather in the upper Great Plains. There's a line of showers that are quickly moving into Iowa this morning, but once again, those are going to be weakening before they can even approach the state line. So another dry day is ahead of us for the most part, but once we get into the early afternoon hours, specifically after 2, 3 o'clock, I think we get to see our chances for an isolated shower or a thunderstorm. You can see that they're very scattered in nature heading into this evening. Nothing severe with any thunderstorm that does pop up. These are going to be your typical summer-like thunderstorms, short-lived, but if they can sustain themselves, they can produce some heavy rainfall. Now, after sunset, this threat is going to be ending, leaving us with a few passing clouds overnight, and we're going to start off once again on the mild side by tomorrow morning. Now, tomorrow we're going to see temperatures soar back into the low 90s once again. It's going to be a little bit warmer than what we're going to see later on today. But once again, keeping that chance for an isolated shower or thunderstorm because of the heat and humidity that's going to be moving in with those southwest winds at the surface. But once again, after sunset, going to see that threat diminish, and we're going to be left with partly cloudy skies as we head into our Thursday. So we're going to remain hot and humid the next couple of days. Yesterday, we had a high of 92 with a heat index value of 95. You can see that we are going to continue to soar into the middle of the work week with 94 degrees by tomorrow, 93 by Thursday. Heat index values close to the triple-digit mark, and we're going to continue the above-average trend in the next 8 to 14 days. So the 7-day forecast, we're going to hold on to the low 90s heading into the second half of the work week, but then cool down into the 80s for the upcoming weekend.
6 weeks away from the start of the Democratic National Convention, followed immediately by the Republican National Convention.
And as Washington correspondent Kelly Meyer reports, the differences between these two events is much like the campaigns themselves. Eyewitness News keeping you connected to the nation's capital.
Two campaigns, two very different conventions.
We're doing it in a way that will keep Americans safe.
We're really excited to now be able to hit two cities.
Democrats will hold a scaled-back convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, while Republicans will hold two events, a business meeting in Charlotte, North Carolina, and a 3-day celebration in Jacksonville, Florida. David Bergstein with the Democratic National Convention says Democrats drastically altered their plans due to the coronavirus.
I think the approach the two parties have taken to the conventions are really reminiscent of the approach that Democrats and Republicans have taken to the coronavirus.
Democratic delegates will stay home, business will be done remotely, and voters will meet virtually.
And we think that allows us to keep our delegation safe and still do the business that's needed at our convention.
Republican National Committee spokesperson Liz Harrington has a different take on Democrats downsizing.
I don't think they can fill the seats.
Harrington wants the Republican convention to showcase the contrast between the two campaigns.
We're really excited to have this event. We want a big crowd, and we want to have safety measures in place so people feel safe.
She says those safety measures will include temperature checks and offering masks to those attending. Reporting in Washington, I'm Kelly Meyer.
All right, well, a machine is now helping business owners try to keep everything sanitized for customers.
And a firefighter is seeing things come full circle for him. It's all in today's uplifting story. So a firefighter in Fresno, California, it's really come full circle for him. Over the holiday weekend, Rob Lee helped save a dog from a burning home. The rescue came exactly 21 years after a Fresno firefighter saved his dog, Mackie, from his childhood home before it burned down. Lee says that rescue had a profound impact on him and actually inspired him to become a firefighter. The dog was from last week's fire. Samson is being treated right now for smoke inhalation. We hope he makes a full recovery, of course.
Well, it was once just a business. Now Timothy Kane says he's never been so popular. He's the CEO of Goodway Technologies Corporation. Actually makes machines that spray disinfectant to clean surfaces.
Imagine how happy he is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, this is doing some things now.
Yeah, just think about when he was like, oh, I'm going to create this cleaning business, and people are like, oh, okay. Now look at what he's doing. So all these essential workers want this, of course, right now. He actually has 110 at his factory in Connecticut. Company has now doubled the number of models it offers to 6 in order to cater to specific restaurants like bars and
clubs. It just makes it easier, especially gyms too, while you're having to spray off things quickly. Also, in Philadelphia, residents say they're ready for lions, tigers, and bears. The Philadelphia Zoo opens to the general public Thursday for the very first time since back in March. But members got the first chance to not only visit the zoo yesterday, but they also got to see some new COVID-19 safety protocols. A lot of people want to make sure that they're safe when they head to these places, head back in. They include advanced reserve tickets, a mask requirement, and hand sanitizer stations. Indoor exhibits now closed for now. A clean team also frequently disinfecting high-touch surfaces there.
Well, fashion designer Vivienne Westwood and photographer Wolfgang Tillmans among 100 artists who contributed to a new magazine called Limbo. It was created to help colleagues out of work because of a pandemic. The magazine, out today in Britain, going to share revenue with its contributors most in need. The publisher, Nick Chapman, says that he wanted to capture how creative people were dealing with the pandemic while supporting the community from the ground up.
Coming up next.
The scope and spread of coronavirus still spiking here in the U.S. New records across several states as cases and hospitalizations rise.
Yeah, some hospitals once again reaching a tipping point. Here's what the nation's leading expert is saying right now.
The COVID-19 outbreak reaching a grim new milestone in the U.S.
The current state is really not good.
There are now nearly 3 million confirmed cases. More than 130,000 people have died. Over the holiday weekend, scores of people ignoring social distancing. And now some new hotspots rolling back reopening. Miami-Dade shutting down gyms and restaurants. In California, a handful of counties closing indoor dining, while LA hit a record high number of cases over the weekend.
Cases are surging, hospitalizations are increasing, and mostly this is all a reflection of a lot more community spread.
In Portland, Oregon, an Army vet says he was one of more than a dozen to test positive for COVID-19 after visiting a bar and grill in Vancouver, Washington.
Eventually, they said we're going to have to move you into ICU. So that's when it was just everything. It's just the weight just came on top of me.
Leaders and lawmakers not immune to the spread. Atlanta's Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom testing positive as her city grapples with growing concerns about the virus.
We have seen the highest spike in numbers of people coming into our major hospital, Grady Hospital, which is the largest trauma center in the Southeast.
President Trump, meantime, facing harsh criticism from the medical community again for incorrectly attributing the spike in the states to more testing. The White House defending the president's assertion.
The president was noting the fact that the vast majority of Americans who contract coronavirus will come out on the other side of this.
Well, speaking of the president, he's now pushing forward with his 2020 campaign, holding a rally next weekend in New Hampshire. It'll be outdoors. Masks will be provided, but not required.
State seeing its lowest single-day death toll in months. 614 new coronavirus cases announced in Illinois, as well as 6 more deaths. It's actually the lowest single-day death toll in the state since March 25th. The department saying it has run more than 21,000 tests in 24 hours. Over the last 7 days, Illinois' positivity rate now at 2.5%.
Well, new this morning, asymptomatic cases could be the main reason COVID-19 continues to spread today. Scientists have found that silent transmission is responsible for half of all COVID cases. Researchers say even immediate isolation of all asymptomatic cases would not be enough to get the spread under control. This model assumed that COVID-19 may be most contagious during the pre-symptomatic stage, which is uncommon for a respiratory infection. Well, this morning, a suspected case of the bubonic plague has now been reported. Health officials say a farmer in a Chinese region of Inner Mongolia may have contracted it. That farmer now undergoing treatment. Authorities in that region also issuing a warning against hunting, eating, or transporting potentially infected animals. The bubonic plague is the disease that caused the Black Death pandemic back in the Middle Ages, killing millions of people back then.
5:36 right now, a U.S. lawmaker from Illinois making his first stop at a local nonprofit, wanting to see how that organization has coped during the pandemic. Congressman Adam Kinzinger at the Northern Illinois Food Bank. Since the health crisis started, that organization changed to drive-through services to keep clients and staff safe. Food bank administrators say they serve a lot of people in rural areas, which can be hard to reach.
Having him come and see the work that we're doing, I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to talk to him about how the food bank can work alongside him in making sure that we can better serve his constituents and our neighbors.
Kinzinger hoping to use his visit to get legislation passed in the nation's capital that would help more people in need.
Well, good news for parents. Tomorrow, the Discovery Center will start welcoming guests to a visit to the museum. It's going to look a little different, though. Families will need to make a reservation ahead of time. Each family will have about 2 hours. It's a 2-hour time slot. Tickets will also be electronic, just to limit touching between guests and staff. Anyone 6 years and older will have to wear a mask or a face covering. Some exhibits have also been moved, modified, or even just taken out. Hand sanitizing stations are also scattered throughout the museum. Social distancing will be enforced. Opening day is set for Chicago baseball teams.
Now, Scott Lever has all the stories in our sports headlines this morning.
There will be opening day baseball on both sides of Chicago on Friday, July 24th. The White Sox will open up a guaranteed rate field against the Twins. That's a night game with a 7:10 start. That same day, Friday, July 24th, the Cubs will host the Brewers at Wrigley Field. That's also a night game with a 6:10 start. The schedule also calls for the Cubs and White Sox to play each other 6 times in this short season. The Rockford Rivets scored 12 runs Sunday against the Wisconsin Woodchucks. Their bats stayed hot last night in a rematch. In the bottom of the 5th, Kirk Liebert to the Rivets drops a single into left center. Cam Field came home. Later that inning, it's Drew Grace up, and he punches a hit over shortstop. The Rivets got 3 runs in that inning. They topped that in the 6th inning. Chase Eastep was up, and the University of Kentucky infielder got all of it. That's a grand slam. The Rivets led 7-3. The Rivets beat the Woodchucks 9-5. That's their 3rd straight win. The National Hockey League and the Players Association Board have a tentative agreement on a reopen plan. It calls for training camps to open July 13th and games to start August 1st. The Board of Governors and the player reps from all 31 teams still have to approve the agreement. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is now the highest paid athlete in American professional sports. He gets a 10-year contract extension worth $477 million. That figure could actually reach $503 million. Based on incentives and how high other quarterback salaries climb over the 10 years. We have our first local golf champion of the year. The final matches of the Montecito Match Play Championship were held Monday at the Montecito Country Club in Rockford. The championship match had Robert Dolphinmeyer, the reigning Greater Rockford Men's Classic champion from last summer, going up against defending champion Brian Silvers. Silvers here is going to knock down a short putt on the 4th hole to grab some momentum. Dolphinmeyer bounces back on number 5. That putt is on the lip and in for a 3. On to number 6, and it's Silvers again making good with the putter. Silvers on number 7. Will get out of the bunker cleanly. And then Dolphinmeyer on number 9. He's going to leave this putt just short. It didn't matter, though, as Dolphinmeyer won the match 4-2. He's won a lot of big tournaments locally over the years, but this is his first Montecito Match Play Championship. That's sports. Have a great day.
All right, thanks, Scott. Well, 2 years ago, Schnucks on Rockton Avenue in Rockford closed. Since then, a lot of people nearby, they've really wanted a store within walking distance.
Yeah, Rockford leader is now working to change that by putting a store in the now vacant building. One alderman telling us he hopes that new business will become a positive part of this community.
They want a full-fledged shopping center that they can shop at and feel safe at, and hopefully that's what they'll be getting.
The former Schnucks grocery store location on Rockton Avenue has stood vacant since the summer of 2018. Rockford City Council members are working to change that by moving forward with the hopeful owners of potential grocery store Rockton Street Market.
Residents are excited because, you have a former store that left there, and now that they have a new business moving in, and it's a really good sized space, they're excited to see what the owners are willing to put forth.
Rose says the need for a grocery store in this neighborhood is evident. When residents need a place to pick up milk or bread, they don't have many options.
In the light of the loss of Schnucks, we've got a virtual food desert between Main Street and Walmart.
At first, the idea of a local market was welcomed by faith-based community group Northwest Neighbors, Inc., which works to improve neighborhoods on Rockford's northwest side. The group changed its tune after a proposal outlined by the potential tenants stated the group has worked in retail liquor sales for nearly 10 years.
I think that when that news came out, that was what tipped off area residents that they don't want a liquor store there.
I mean, it's not as if we're opposed to somebody selling alcohol. That's not what anybody's about. We're just hopeful that they would be looking for something beyond that.
Monday, City Council members voted to limit the grocer's liquor license to the sale of beer and wine only.
The city has just been very helpful, making sure we try and keep life on the northwest side of the city as full of possibilities.
In Rockford, for your home team, I'm Hannah Zettel.
Well, TikTok may soon be banned from the U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo saying the U.S. is considering a ban on Chinese social media apps. Pompeo saying people should only download the popular video app if they want their private information in the hands of Chinese Communist Party. TikTok is owned by Beijing-based ByteDance. through the app has previously said it operates separately from them. It also claims its data centers are located outside China and not subject to Chinese law.
And I think everybody has been using that all summer long.
Yes, especially during coronavirus pandemic.
You even downloaded it.
I did.
Too.
I only made one TikTok and I got probably 2 views. So.
Okay, well, I'll be number 3.
Not a TikTok star yet.
I'll check it out. Well, Target is actually hiking up its minimum wage, $15 an hour now. That pay increase coming 5 months ahead of schedule. The move going to benefit more than 250,000 employees across stores and distribution centers. Target's hourly wages have gone up to $4 in under 3 years.
All right, well, Burger King giving us a mini guilt-free version of their shakes. The company just rolled out their 9-ounce shakes. This is tiny for just $1. They're only 22 calories. They come in chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla flavors, all topped with whipped cream. But I'd want like 6 of those.
I was thinking of
minimum.
9 ounces isn't, I mean, they look smaller there, I think. It's
yeah,
like
they look. That looks like a shot.
It does look like a shot glass. Well, you're right. I'd be like, yeah, can I have 4 mini chocolate
I've got a lot of
shakes?
kids in here, so
Look,
we're gonna need 8.
No one's in the back seat, sir.
All right, well, let's go to Michelle just to tell us what's happening on Fox 39. Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Good. 9 ounces is pretty big for 22 calories. I'm going to have to research that.
It doesn't look like that.
That doesn't seem right, right, Michelle? Like
we'll have to try them,
yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
Coming up on Fox 39 after 7, we're talking about why Frosted Flakes is trending on Twitter this morning. Also, the grilling tips we need most here in the state line, your good day calendar, task of the day, and of course, we have a ton of awesome summer fun photos you sent us.
Now, are these grilling tips coming after yesterday's little incident with the fire
No,
alarm?
I don't know if mushrooms is involved at all, but that wasn't grilling. That was just setting the...
But I have to say, Michelle, those mushrooms were very good. I'm not a mushroom guy, but I got to give you props.
And if you missed it yesterday, Michelle almost set the building on fire. She was cooking. Smoke alarms
We're
were
happy
going
to be
off,
here
tiny.
today.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to hearing more on that, Michelle, in just a little bit. We want to hear from our Morning Mug Club today, though. Pools, they're hard to find right now here in the state line. What are you doing to beat the heat if it's not a pool?
That's our Morning Mug Club question of the day. Let us know on our Facebook page. We'll share your responses on Fox 39. Switch over with us. We're on right now at 7.